welcome back to my channel, and today is another foundation review. This one is popping right now. Excuse me. So probably all heard of it. It is the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour and it's full coverage. This is all over YouTube, it's all over Instagram. I'll go through the claims and everything, so I'm just letting you know I've already moisturised, and I've moisturised using my Nip and Fab Soften, and it is like a kale fix moisturiser. It smells like salad. It's amazing, and I'm nearly out. I'm not primed yet. I like to leave that on for about 15 minutes if I can. The primer I will be using is In Transit Camera Close Up. This is almost gone as well. I cry. So let's go through some claims. So number one, full coverage, 24-hour wear. That's it. That's all it says. It's in all different languages. So yeah, pretty standard. That's what it is. Full coverage, 24-hour wear. It's going to be like amazeballs. This is in the shade 21 Nude. You can see on the bottom if it focuses just there. And I have wanted this foundation for a while. This this retails around £7 to £8, depends where you go. Amazon, Tesco, Superdrug, Boots, Debenhams, everywhere does this. I got mine on Amazon for £7. I got it on Prime, so it came straight away. Now, disclaimer, I have used this foundation already, so I have trialled it before, know what products work with it, know what products don't, and know how it wears. So I know a lot of these videos you are wanting like a first impressions. Sorry I can't give you a first impressions, but I can give you tips and tricks on how it goes, how it uses. I have literally no makeup on at all. I look like a hobo. These bags, don't know why they're there, but they are. So let's get started. So I'm just going to take my primer. Now this foundation is a mattifying foundation, so there's no dewy element to it. It's going to be quite drying on the skin, so I advise you to go and put a really decent moisturiser on. That's the word I was looking for. And also with primers, pick a moisturising primer. This one is like a moisturising creamy primer. The silicone ones aren't going to cut it with a drying foundation. I know silicone foundations are stunning when you've got makeup on, but with a drying foundation you are going to need something that is going to hydrate your skin underneath, and it just helps not to settle into your pores, show any dry patches. My skin is combination 2 dry, so I don't really get oily at all. I have red patches. I have my skin condition anyway, which is in the hairline, so that's pretty dry, so I have to put that right into there. And I just have red patches. I'm quite sensitive. So if you have skin a little bit like mine, then I suggest you moisturise up good and use a lovely moisturising primer. If you are oily, then you should be good. Just make sure I will be able to talk today. Just make sure the moisturiser is a good moisturiser and that you do let it soak in, and then you can go ahead and use whatever primer you want if you're oily. So I like to push that right in to my skin. I hope this lighting's okay. The sunshine's come out a little bit today, and we haven't had a little bit of sunshine in ages, and the light has just been real grey and miserable. Yeah, it's not been great. I've not enjoyed it. Okay, so I just nearly tipped you over. In this primer, in this foundation, when you shake it, there's like a little ball in there, like a spray can. It's not as aggressive, but it's in there, and it makes it all mixed together really nicely, and that's a good sign for a foundation. And this packaging, I think it's so sleek, and I just think they've really stepped it up. I've heard this is a dupe for the Huda Beauty foundation. I think it's Nikki Tutorials that did a video on it. She compared this to the Huda Beauty on each side, and they look very similar, and that's a very expensive foundation. So this is good. Let's just bring you in a little bit closer so you can see how many freckles I've got. So pump. All foundations should come with a pump nowadays. It's just amazing. Okay, so we're just gonna squirt you on. So I just like to take one pump at first. That's one nice decent sized pump. This is normally my shade, like 21 Nude, Nude Beige is everything to me. I always pick that. It's a little bit dark, oxidizes a little bit, but you can correct it with concealer and powder. And you know, I have a problem. I cannot remember anything right now. Memory has gone. It is crazy. I am gonna have to go to the doctors. It's getting worse. Literally asking customers, did I give you a change? I'm just forgetting everything. My boyfriend will tell me something, and then within 5 minutes I forget if I leave the oven on. I'm like, there is something wrong. Have I got early Alzheimer's? I don't know, but there is something very wrong with me. So that is one pump, and that is like one layer to me. That's one layer. Now, if you're wondering about brush and sponge, for me personally, this brush is Life, the Spot FX brush. I don't know what I did before this. This foundation works much better with a brush for me, gives a better coverage. But after I have blended it all out, I will use my sponge just to make sure there's no streaks or anything, just to make it a little bit more flawless. So that's my advice. If you are a sponge girl, go ahead, but I would advise to blend it out with your fingers, then go in with the sponge if that's what you are. So I'll just start with one side. I'm being quite aggressive as well. I'm not being like gentle. You will see the difference. Look at the difference already. This is my new fave. This is my go-to holy grail. I am so pleased with this foundation. I like to do 2 layers just to get a bit of extra coverage. Now I have moisturize and everything, so it's not going to ruin our skin if we go ahead and apply a second layer. Just remember that. I'm not being like extra. I just like a lot. I like a lot of full coverage. So that's just a rough, quick gone over with a brush on that side. Look at this. Just look at this. Can you see it? One layer, one layer, one layer. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this side, and we'll go in with a second layer. This is the first layer down, the base down, quick, easy, and banged it out. So I'm just going to go in with one more pump, going into the same areas to cover up a little extra. I know it is a full coverage foundation, but I have quite a large face, so it's got a lot to go on. This is why I go the extra step. Now for you it might be different, but for me personally, I have a bigger head. I normally use 2 pumps with any foundation anyway, but that was a really light sort of layer for me, just the one pump, just to show you with a small amount goes a long way. And this is my second layer, and it is super buildable as well, guys. I am obsessed. Going over with the sponge now. I finished up my second layer. The sponge just sort of pushes it into your pores a little bit and eliminates the streaks, if you have any streaks or brush lines from the brush. Get it right into your hairline. I do need to blend a little bit down the neck because it's like, I forgot. But this is how it looks without any concealer or any powder. Still a little bit tacky. Just go over my lips because I'm going to be putting lip product on later. It's a little bit dry in here. I'm having a bad day with dry skin, but we'll be able to sort that with powder. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, right? Powder on dry skin. I just think powder finishes it off. This is the colour. I'm a little bit paler here, but I will sort that out. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of, what is this now? What did I say it was? What did I say? Highlight. It's not the best highlighter, this one, at all, but it's the lightest shade that I've got right now, apart from white, and I think white can look a bit too much, too fake. Yeah, I'm crazy. So let's just go ahead and blend that. That's all blended out, and time for a little powder. Just using my Sponsered translucent powder. If you're wondering what I use for highlight, I wouldn't recommend the highlight side. I would recommend the contour side, but I've used it all. It's the Master Contour V by Maybelline as well. So just need to get some powder out. Things have looked a little bit different today because my beauty blender isn't as damp as I normally have it. That might be why it looks a little bit different to me. Not sure, probably. So I'm just gonna put this underneath my eyes. Basically everywhere that I just put the highlighter or concealer is, I don't know what you want to call it. As for how this wears, well, I wore it yesterday and I didn't use a moisturizer, I used a face oil, and it started to wear off on my nose after around 8 hours. I had a busy day yesterday, I had a runny nose, and it did start to sort of wear off on my nose. When I use a more moisturising moisturiser, it seems to last a lot better. The powder is also there to keep it matte and to keep it around longer. So it just depends how you have your base, how you do your powder. I just like to powder my eyelids in preparation to my eyeshadow. Oh my god, I need to see somebody now because I can't even remember what eyeshadow was called. That is a problem in itself. So I'm just literally putting the powder everywhere on my face. Not a lot at all. I don't use a ton of powder, only under my eyes I use quite a bit. And then I just like to take a big fluffy brush and kind of just away any loose powder that's not sitting. Great. Oh, and it just feels divine. Like tickle. So as you can see now, I've done the powder and everything. It's lightened it out a whole lot. I'm not going to do any sort of anything else on camera. I'm going to go ahead and do my makeup off camera and come back with the full results when I've bronzed and used blusher and everything. This is how it looks just by powdering and applying the foundation. It is very full coverage. I know you can still see my freckles a tiny bit, but I don't know, I think that's just me, because every foundation that I have you can see through just a tiny amount. I guess I'd look a little bit fake if I didn't have that sort of see-through, but for me this is a really nice coverage. When I first used it I was blown away. So I'll be back in a second with finished. Everything is on and done and I am like obsessed. Just take a minute. Yes, I haven't got the most perfect skin in the world, but it does what it says on the tin, right? Let's just cover this up here. So I love this foundation. It doesn't do it justice. This camera is like, I can't even begin to explain. I will probably insert a picture of how it looks, because the light's a little wonky now, but I need a ring light. Does somebody want to buy me a ring light? That would be just like a big thanks, babe, for that. But yeah, 10 out of 10. This foundation is everything I expected it to be. And do you like my makeup? I've gone for a pinky look today and like a very pink nude lip. I'm going to go ahead and get dressed, do something with my hair. I'm having my hair done on Saturday. I'm having the blonde pushed up a little bit and a bit more blended. So yay. Okay, so just a quick talk about how it wears. So I've wore this foundation about 4 or 5 times and it wears well. Doesn't break up around the nose like a lot of them can do. If I have a runny nose, which I do lately, and I'm doing this constantly, it starts to wear a little bit here, but it doesn't settle in. It doesn't break up on the chin or any oily areas. I'm not very oily. But yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Long lasting, long wear. I've never wore it 24 hours, but I think I've wore it 12 and it still looked pretty decent. So this is my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it looks okay. Yeah. I think it looks superb. So thanks for watching, guys. I would highly recommend that foundation. Totally dried down, no transfer. Big thumbs up from me. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.